Okay, the only two people that use David Nelson.
All right, I'm going to get started here.
It's like biologically impossible.
So you're going to
This is my first time.
okay, because you can always, hop in later on. There's open spots.
She don't believe it. She's the one that started the college with the Ginsburg, in the local college,
As if people hear
so now I have Brady to think.
I'm going to try this off.
My heart.
All right, just want to, you're welcome.
Just see what I look like over here.
All right, we're going to start. Let me pick up the things I dropped. That was practice. Put my glasses on. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to Sacred Grounds. I'm Dan Brady, the current host, or curator, as they sometimes say, of the longest-running open mic in the known and unknown universe. Serving up good food and quiet poetry since 1972-ish. Give Teddy back there a round of applause because he's the host. Serving up good food. I hope you enjoyed that. That's how we support him, and he supports us by letting us be here and say whatever we want. Anyway, I'm going to go to the routines here just really quickly. Respecting the mic, that means keep your conversations to a whisper, please. If you have any advice, like I know I do, cell phone or others, now's the time to put it on vibrate or hold or whatever it all is, because that way you won't be embarrassed when you're standing up here reading your poem and your cell phone goes off. That would be fun. So take care of that like I'm doing that right now. Tonight's feature is Eileen Malone. She's not in the house yet, but will be. And the mini feature, let me just see if I got all that here. I should have brought this up. Oh, Marco Harps, he'll be back. He'll be here a while. He's the mini feature tonight. We have Zabine as the last word. She said she would be here. Eileen Malone is on her way. Clyde always is the keynote. So he'll launch us off there. And please note the link on this little flyer over here. There's a link there, and it's there for 5 reasons. First reason is if you can't be here, you want to be here, but you can't be here, you can at least view in. If you want someone to see you live and you know you're going to be here and you have some idea about when, or even if you don't, you can tell someone to tune in and watch. Third, you want to hear someone's poem again because you liked it so much you think, what did that guy really say? Why does Dan tell that same joke? What is the punchline? You can go back and check it. And if you want to look at how you did, well, then there you can do that too. And more importantly, it's the way to put out your word to other people. You can send the link, and then time to go into so many minutes, and they can find out what you're going to do, what you said, and why it's good. Now, the ongoing theme, the never-ending ongoing theme is, a quote from Margaret Mead, never doubt that a small group of committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. Tonight's theme, which is not mandatory, the smaller theme, Margaret Mead's the larger theme, kisses sweeter than wine, since no one gave me a theme last week, I just picked one. So kisses sweeter than wine is not mandatory. And last thing, if you wish to record someone, please ask permission. I will assume that you've asked permission. So if I notice someone recording or taking pictures, I'll assume that you said it was okay. But please, ask the person. Most people say, oh, sure, no problem. Let's see what else is there. Oh, the door prizes. What?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying we're all on TV anyway.
Yes, we all are. This is The Earth Stood Still. It's the later one, not the earlier one. It's still, some of the effects are good. It's not as good as the original, I think.
Has some good moments.
Has good moments. Spider-Man 2. Poetry. And this is When the Phoenix Died, Deborah Grace Guitar. This is very good. And then from art, we have Bob. From Bob, we have art. This is Amma when she was young, right? So this is a nice frame, nice setup there. And then a 2017 calendar. I know you're just about dying for this.
Thanks
So-
for bringing that as a prize.
Huh?
Thanks for bringing that as a prize.
Well, you know, you got to look ahead.
I know.
And so I think there's anything else. Oh yes, so I'm about to sit down, and Clyde always will be coming up. And then if someone hasn't signed in, they will take care of that in due course. So Clyde, where are you? Oh, there he is. Give him a round of applause.
Harmonica Blues by Stephen Coppell. Why is Patrick pushing a DeSoto sedan? Do the kin of cedar carvers potlatch the Turtle Clan? Is your fluoridated toothpaste on the empty shelf? Is the face in every mirror a reflection of yourself? This leather picture album that I balance on my head is full of empty pages since the photos have all fled. Thin shadows shifted when the curtains did close. Plans bound to be rejected were the ones I would propose. My mechanical friend has a robot Matt who spilled the soup of cream of mushroom going splat. Uncle missed his uppers, I was playing a trick. Whoever smashed bathroom glass forgot to take the brick. Been fed too many insults, swallowed all my scars. I'm not in Folsom Prison, time to rattle those bars. Chewy tender meat is tattooed on my right shoulder. Time to dump the devil is my courage growing bolder. I'm a rock and a gentle puff of breeze. I'm a pair of Levi shorts cut off above the knees. I'm a bugle blowing taps and the woods are fast asleep. I'm a porpoise, sleek and handsome, in the blue and purple deep. Can Chardonnay prevent the gout? Pop-Tarts float, I have no doubt. Puppies go for spicy mustard, smacking good as mama's custard. Every fire needs a spark. Am I glowing in the dark? No more headache, no more pain. Dancing naked in the rain. Want to do it, know it, be it. Want to drive a little Fiat. Thanks, everybody.
Right always. He brought up something great that since he read something by somebody else, I hand him the attribution page, and he will make sure that I don't put the wrong name there. All right, now let me just spin this around here. Spin, monkey. All right. Mr. Marvin Heimstra is our first open mic reader. Please give him a recognition as he comes up here and adjusts things accordingly.
You may have noticed it's election time.
No, we didn't.
Oh, no.
This poem is titled Frequent Suckers. So let's see, we'll put it here for now.
Watch out. Oh. So everybody is usual.
Frequent Suckers. In the first half of the 21st century, both serious scholars and shrink-wrapped nuts stubbornly insisted. Artistic and literary formats evolve through time, like the subtle, sexy curve of a flea's knee. Excuse me. First known example of the one-thought repetition poem is Freezing Dawn, an out-of-jerky prehistoric dirt age. This pragmatic classic comes down to us through the reassuring glow of oral tradition. Title, Don't Be Swallowed. Make a face. Make a face. Make a face. Make a face. Make... My own humble contribution to this ageless genre. No show, no kiss, deepest espresso eyes candidate. Didn't come to my fundraiser. Didn't come to my fundraiser. Didn't come to my fundraiser. didn't come to. Thank you.
Byron Hiveshaw, thank you. All right.
You all right?
Let me read the next 5 so they know that I know, that you know, they know, I know, that you know, I know, they know, you know, I know.
Sing it, sing it.
Now we're completely confused.
Thank you. Just put your finger at the top of the page and mark. Anyway, we have Hal, then Owen, then Justice, then Al, then David, then Yasmin, then Bob, Bob. So give Hal a round of applause and thank you, Mr. Always. Perfect. Wondrous is this, as my friends used to say.
From Prelude by T.S. Eliot. The winter evening settles down with smell of steaks in passageways. 6 o'clock. The burnt out ends of smoky days. And now a gusty shower wraps the drying scraps of withered leaves about your feet, and newspapers from vacant lots. The showers beat on broken blinds and chimney pots, while at the corner of the street a lonely cab horse steams and stamps. And then the lighting of the lamps. The morning comes to consciousness with the first faint stale smell of beer from the sawdust-sprinkled streets, with all their busy feet that press to early coffee stands. With the other masquerades that time resumes, one thinks of all the hands that are raising dingy shades in 1,000 furnished rooms. You tossed the blanket from the bed. You lay upon your back and waited. You dozed and watched the night revealing the 1,000 sordid images of which your soul was constituted. They flickered against the ceiling. And when all the world came back, and the day crept in through the shutters, and you heard the sparrows in the gutters, you had such a vision of the street as the street hardly understands. Sitting along the bed's edge where you curled the papers in your hair or clasped the yellowed soles of feet in the palms of both soiled hands. His soul stretched tight across the skies that stand behind the city block, and answered by insistent feet at 4 and 5 and 6 o'clock, and short square fingers stuffing pipes, and evening newspapers, and eyes assured of certain certainties, the conscience of a blackened street, impatient to assume the world. I am moved by fancies that are curled about these images and cling the notion of some infinitely gentle, infinitely suffering thing. Wipe your hand across your mouth and laugh. The worlds revolve like ancient women gathering fuel in vacant lots.
Nicely done. And I hand him the attribution sheet, of course. I would like to acknowledge the presence of our feature for the evening, Eileen Malone. Give her a nice one. Give her the Queen's wave so they know who you are. There we go. Beautiful. Wonderful. Thank you. I like doing that. All right. Oh, sorry. Get back to this here. Morgan Freeman.
I'm here.
Alistair Crowley.
I'm here.
Oh, and Brando.
Johnson and Johnson. Okay, I'm being foolish. Mr. Owen Dunkel is the next reader up. Give him a nice round of applause, please. One of our regulars. And he'll get set up and get organized the way he likes. Focus.
Can everybody hear me?
There
Yes.
we go.
That's how much
A sword rattles in the library. The plunging blade of the image, the metaphor, the sharp red flecks, the L of the line, the blur of the gray and green curtains down, the orange and red flash of the last century of finality, a denouement of the final image. A stillness today. Once I was a Marine who sought salvation on Spyglass Hill, talking to churches and cathedrals. Thank you. Left alone to themselves, white minarets and steeples, argue and chat politely as to who could talk and sing loudest to this their God. Mars in Scorpio. Dark gray clouds, fair Paris dragged to the streets of Troy. The head of Agamemnon impaled on a pole. Brave Achilles sulks in his tent, sword and buckler hanging from the shadows of a dark sun. And the beautiful Jewish woman saunters into the library as a death-like old crone. The proud give their prosthetic apparati to a Trojan horse, but succeeded in getting shafted like a nude flagpole sitter. Radical politics and war are cut from the same steel cape and are making the same scene. Death and mass confusion follow fair Prometheus to his island of aloneness and aloofness, talking like Auden in his cell of himself. So a wooden diadem, a box within a box, a play within a play. Your mind a set of wooden sticks that go by 2 by 2. Hip hop, hip hop. I think a thought who is munching, lunching, and crunching. It was bad form to commit a solecism. This poem a mad solecism hiding in the dark mummy wheat that cannot say it was bad form. Bad form searching for its karma. To a land of Oz. Black sand evolving to a narrow blue sky, piercing Brobdingnagian's disguise as dwarfs signal each other to race like boy and girl towards the elegant, commanding, always consistent surf, corroding, whispering, and frolicking towards the fascination of our cathedral of plenitude. Black sand breaching, reacting with deep, longing fingers to forgive another's sleight of hand love affair with nothing. Not even the air we wave our arms about in the jaunty ablutions of the devil-may-care catharsis of nothingness. Nothingness we forget to remember with all the love and joy we gracefully refuse to turn our backs on. Terpsichore, living nature of will slipping and gambling towards a provocative Old Testament. As I forget the windy soul of the villanelle, I forget buzzing and banging in and out of blue shutters. Lord Winter. Winter, that drunk old lord, comes in November to fill its cup. Leaves fall before its sword. A bleak denouement, a fat old gourd. Pebbles tenderize look up to winter, that drunk old lord. A salty tail that brandishes its reward. Plants strength their false sup. Leaves fall before its sword. We are the unison of a quiet accord, a sorrow like a frozen syrup of winter, that drunk old lord. Like a set of summer that roared its sunsets and devilish pup. Leaves fall before its sword. Evening passes us a fretful chord as hearts stand the season up. To winter, that drunk old lord. Leaves fall before its sword.
Thank you, Mr. Owen. Well done. All right. Thank you. Justice is next. Then we have Al, David, Yasmin, Bob, and Dano the Beeps. Now, for people who want to sign in, if they haven't, there's time after the break, so there's the people spaces before the feature are already taken. Give her a nice round, please. Respect.
The lights are bright on Broadway.
Yeah, whatever happened to that scene?
From the series Poems by the Throat. It's working its way toward a book. We'll see.
All right.
Great.
It's called Deeper. For you, I flayed my soul open. Ecstasy, agonizing, distracted, wild. Love opened a wound. I made the blade deeper. Can you read that again?
Wow. Yeah, read it again. That's good.
Yeah, this is so Jessica. Okay, deeper. It's a whispering pillow talk poem. For you, David, I flayed my soul. Ecstasy, agonizing, distracted, wild. Love opened a wound. I made the blade deeper. Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. I was going to say short and sweet, but you know what I mean. Wow.
And the jazzy.
Yeah. That sultriness. Yeah.
That's called Ivy.
All right. A couple of quick things. When I talked about the door prizes, I forgot to mention the ones that are not actual objects. This one is choosing the next week's theme if you can't be here and want to do that. The mini feature, which is someone that comes up after the break and gets an 8-minute chunk of time, which today is Marco Harps. The keynote is someone who speaks first and reads a poem by someone else, which Clyde always did, giving us a wonderful example of Mr. Stephen Coppell. And then, of course, there's the absolute last word. You are the last word. No one gets to gainsay you. You close the show, as it were. So, all right. That said and done, we'll now have Mr. Al Nightingale rise to the occasion and adjust his microphone to suit his fancy and ours. Give a nice round. Pull it up a little bit. We're in honey. Sorry. There we go.
A couple of meetings ago, I started to read my big poem, The Foundling Baby Shark, and today I want to read continuation. At the beginning, main character found Brady in the street next to the sun porch, and unexpectedly, Brady started to speak in a strange way. I examined it from all sides. The remote control must be somewhere, or maybe it's just a prank. For you, I'm a little bit of bluebird, so I don't have to hide my just manners under a more seriousness. However, when you touch my weak point, I have to make cranking in hard environment, inevitable in dealing with dilemmas. An angel of dispassion was returning to me slowly. I never climbed trees to explain how strange are these arrows of complete metonymies. But be careful when moving the invisible realities, and this one running past as if he cares where to run. Thus, usually I go hitting the tambourine. I didn't want to bother her, to bargain, and just silently drag her away. Oh, what a bouquet of motley roses was lamped for me by girl gardeners while I walked in this happy part of the city where my Jessie lived. She was always hospitable, even when guests arrived not on time at all. On the festive tray, detached from her ancestors, there has been waiting an elegant carousel of watermelon slices, as it was when I brought my founding to her my founding baby. From this point, where maybe I was doing yoga, or maybe blew up from desire to get rid from extra excitement, I considered in our co-presence there was some innuendo, something half-hearted, as if we shared common ties with a number of moles across the horizon. Well, unclenched fingers, what is it? I was holding in palms a gift pack, and Jessie not expected at all that from that whiskey bottle suddenly will be heard a surprisingly deep voice. Thus one day, feeding wild turtle doves on my windowsill, I was shocked by the arrival of a black pigeon. Why do we always have to hide from each other our true nature? You want to analyze my spectrum. I'm blue and red. I live in the universe, and my appearance isn't dictated by any line shifts. Otherwise, we would have twins. Next,
thank you. Al Nightingale, thank you. From the book, The Upcoming. David Erdreich knows it's him. Give him a round for his mind, people. Pick it up out there. Don't let me do it all. I'll stop. I'll keep on talking, and then, everybody will tell me to.
So I'm going to be featured for Vacha's show, which is out right at the library by the Fruit Trail Station on the BART on November 26th, and then on December 12th, Poetry Express, where I read every week on Monday in Berkeley at Himalayan Flavors. I'll be featured there. So here's the, first I'll just start with, I watch my grandson twice a week, and on Monday we got out of the park, and he walked uphill about 400 yards. He's 15 months, and made it to within 1 block of the house, and he stopped 3 times to do his version of the Macarena.
His version.
His version. So this is Kisses Sweeter Than Wine, the prompt.
Thank you.
It seems like Clara's the only one who does the prompt.
I am ready with the prompt.
Oh yeah.
Make the difference.
Oh yeah. Reaction. Okay. Kisses sweeter than wine. Murmurs, whispers, wind chimes. Perspiration, condensation, trickle drops of tear and heat, joined at the hip, conjunct, replete, lids, flutter, sigh, relent, repose. We are still joined in sleep, eyes closed.
Nice.
When we get to about 15 minutes to the end, just put your fist up in the air so I can see
15
it.
seconds.
15 seconds, sorry.
I'm gonna say.
I can always hope.
I know. You'll see me. I'll do something. Thank you. Er spielt Musik. Und jetzt haben wir die nächsten. Yasmin, although reading from the book, right?
Yes.
Okay. Give her a nice round when she comes up. Welcome her. And we'll move things to a more.
This is very rough, so still needs a lot of editing and stuff like that. So anyway.
Okay.
Earlier part of the book. Henri's first few glimpses of Philadelphia were like raw yarn hanging unknotted from unfinished carpets. She could not work the fibers together into definite patterns. People building streams remained like fragments in her mind, their shapes blurred and unfamiliar, their frames distinct from those in the country she had just left. Her first few weeks were spent in the vicinity of Temple University, where she was to start graduate school. Temple University appeared as an expanse of paved roads, which led to the bell tower centered in the midst of cemented structures. Here and there lay mounds of grass, infrequently disturbed by weeping willow trees. In the hidden crevices of their arms, which relaxed towards the ground, Henri spotted young couples kissing. She had been shocked by their openness. They embraced in broad daylight, outside on the library lawn. In Bombay, she recalled how couples had to escape
to the muddy trails which dipped down from the hanging gardens into the shadows of the palms in order to steal a solitary kiss. Cautious even then about the scrutiny of passerbys. Here the couples seemed oblivious, even to her, when she walked up to them, curious at first and then challenging them with her intrusion. They looked at her a moment at the length of her attire, falling to her ankles, at the abrupt halt in her blouse on her midriff. Their eyes seemed to question her for one brief moment before their bodies fell back on the grass, locked in each other's arms. How could they, she thought, with everyone watching? She shifted her eyes to the library verandas. No one watched, only she. Philadelphia, she was in it. She was in the United States. Her dream had come true, yet the contours of the city remained distinct from the ones in her dreams, from the images which filtered through the Elvis Presley films she had seen in Bombay. Philadelphia was human chest seen through an X-ray machine, a broad, thick spine, Broad Street, holding together the ribbed streets around it. The streets were clean and bright. No spittoon marked their tarred surface. No cow dung spotted their pavements. The emptiness of the streets frightened her. It reminded her of the only time she had seen the empty streets in Bombay, when they had been at war with Pakistan and there had been a curfew. The streets in Philadelphia were permanently under curfew, and under the streets there was a blackout in the city which lay underground, the subway, dark funnels which led to the glaring eyes of trains. She had been trapped in the newness of the tunnel, of metal coins dropped into coin slots, of doors which opened into compartments without being touched, of walls within the compartments marked in strange letters which curved like spiders, their tentacles secure in the ink webs spreading as a background behind the silver-gray hair of old women with bright lipstick, red-orange rouge, the colors of vermilion on Omri's forehead. She was in Philadelphia. It had not been easy. It's unorthodox, Father had said when she had presented him with the admission slips to Temple University. But Father had promised her, if she finished her BA with an honors degree, honors grade, she would go to America. My daughter will not go to America, he had said. Women don't go off to a country so free, so unprincipled, so immoral. No, you shan't go. You're a Muslim woman, don't forget, and we cannot live like them. We cannot. Brothers in Canada, you let him go, her furious protests. He is a man. Father had been final with his words. She was in Philadelphia. Thank you.
Thank you. Love it. You know, she says it needs editing and stuff like that, but it's great. I love it. Mr. Bob Dewhurst, kindly come forward. Then it'll be myself, and then the Sander L after me, so he knows over there. And like I said, if someone wanted to sign up for the Open after the feature and the break, there's spaces in the Open here, so we'll take care of that. Thank you, Bob.
Hi, everybody, and thank you for coming. Wow. I'm working on my novel here, Buddy, Ballad of Buddy Nobody, and this is also very, very rough stuff. So I need to do a disclaimer. This is all stories from life, but lest it seem like I'm promoting drug use. I've been clean and sober for 15 years, and it's working out with me very well.
Here.
Whatever you want to do, go right ahead.
Notice the skin. The skin is so beautiful.
Also, my dad was a better guy than me, so don't take it the wrong way. This is one I read before. Me and Pa throw the dukes.
Oh boy.
He'd balance a dinner plate on his knees somehow while the flies buzzed against the screens of our small adobe house. Hunched up to the little black and white TV that lit up sliding layers of cigarette smoke, he was watching the Friday night fights, rolling with the punches, ducking, and shouting, "Come on, Floyd, take him apart, Ray," while firing left hooks that made the sweat fly off his nose. Later, he started calling me champ and roughing my hair up with his big hands. It was pissing me off, see? I just turned 5 years old. He stared at me across the dinner table, sizing me up. One night after eating, he wiped his mouth with a paper napkin and stood up. "Time you learned how to fight, kid. Put 'em up. I'll show you the basics." I sprang, he squared off and began dancing around. I sprang up like a jackrabbit and clocked him in the nuts with a tremendous overhand right, running out the other side between his legs. He tottered and slowly sank to the wooden floor, stretched out and began crawling for the bedroom, one elbow over the other like they must have showed him in the military. "Robbie beat up Daddy," exclaimed my sister, jumping up and down. "Hush, don't say that." Mommy shooed her to a neutral corner. But I'd grown over 11 feet tall now and was dancing on the kitchen table with a heart on. "I'm the king," I yelled over my admiring sister, but her face was just a dot in the roaring crowd. Through a crack in the door, I saw a paw doing push-ups to hide his pain, his shame. Extending a leg, I rolled him over with my big toe. "Incidentally, Pa, from now on, I'll be sleeping with Mommy." God began to shrink, however, as he recovered and regained his size. There was a flicker of eye contact, a fateful instant where we were equal. But then he towered over me again, 250 plus pounds, and I, my little boy self. I forget what followed, but it caused me to repress this memory for over 4 decades, till Pa went underground. So my first real scrap was with the old man. I put him to bed early. He stopped calling me champ after that. Reviewing the incident half a century later, I thought, I should have fired a combo. Grr, should have stayed on him, pummeling his testes like a gym fighter, training on the speed bag. Grr, poor old Pa. Can I squeeze one more in?
Yeah, you go.
Thank you. This is the power of the word. My friend Jim had been involved in his 3rd marriage. It started with adultery and ended with it. It was no coincidence to me that he strained his groin and limped for a month after their initial foray. In the meantime, they had a golden year or two. Then Jim was diagnosed with inoperable brain cancer. My girlfriend Sally and I walked into the hospital room just as the doctor walked out from telling him. By sheer coincidence, I felt we'd been drawn there to absorb the shock with him. They just told him he had the cancer and couldn't get over it. Jim and Debbie's relationship deteriorated after that. They purchased a beautiful vacation home in the Sierras. It became a source of dispute and a bitter quarrel followed. Debbie got a high-powered woman lawyer, and Jim made the mistake of trying to defend himself legally. The two, Debbie and the lawyer made up a list of all the expensive furniture she bought for the house, totaling many thousands of dollars. Sally and I and Jim were up at the vacation home alone. He was telling us the story as we sat around the fire, and we had a chance to laugh about it all. It was so outrageous. All the furniture had been purchased at cheap garage sales. Jim said Debbie listed the chair I was sitting in as valued at $400, and we all started laughing. I leaned back in the chair and said, "Truth is, there ain't a goddamn piece of furniture in this whole house worth more than $15. And just as I said it, the chair collapsed in splinters, spilling me on the floor. We threw it in the fire, laughing hysterically.
That's the Ballad of Buddy Nobody. He's been working on it for like decades.
No, he started writing recently.
Oh no, but he's been working on it for a long time.
Don't make any trouble.
Well, oh, wait a minute. Where'd my glasses go? Hold on a second.
Without these, I can't see me. And with them, I can't see you. So, we're even. So these are three pieces that have to do with the theme, Kisses Sweeter Than Wine. No one else gave me something, so I used that. Anyway.
I wrote my kisses under the willow tree.
Yeah. So just a brief backup about this particular piece. This was a poem that was made. There was a book called Lima Rooftops, and it was a book of poems that were in Spanish, and then the translation in English was on a facing page. And at the time, someone told me you take this, instead of looking at the translation, you just look at the Spanish alone and write what comes to you, and then, and that's a way of processing or creating something new. And I thought, what a cool idea, so I tried it. And this is one of the poems that came out of that. Desire. Out on the veranda, it is quiet. The crying and talking are hidden away. Down the halls and in other rooms, this is a big house. Its white adobe walls cool now. The wind touches the trees. My mother has died. I look out over the houses. From up here, a guitar is somewhere splendidly. My lips say these words, dead. She is dead. Her white hair will dry out, turn to dust. I want to go to the mountains. I want to be out of this house. The illusions of memory, the colors of festival, the daily work and dinners ending in talk and wine disappear. I look out to remember the birds of the sea calling as the sky closes over the ocean. I taste salt on my lips, wet. I remove my mother's black gloves from my pocket. The crumpled black lace blooms in my palm. I cup it to my face, this scent of Sundays. It takes me years and years to answer someone calling my name. And this one is a little more interpersonally personal. It's called Everything, Everything. Though love does abide, this revival set us aglow as spring air freshened in from our window. So above as motes caught in slant light were carried out, as below in idle embraced, we found certain redoubt. You, abed beside me with our timely spirit, replied to this life, deciding thus to cheer it. When at rest in disarray, tumbled thoughts came to mind. We spoke through a sigh, declaiming any common bind. And so those loose, languorous afterglow dreams went a-wing, arose with our wishes lofting up to clouds for a fling. Oh, set aside the simple little mind and its torturous plays, and part those fanciful curtains onto love's yesterdays, where o'erspread are those pastoral scenes of storybook lore, wherein everyone so happily dwells, peaceful forevermore.
Oh.
And then this takes us to the external world. You say you are searching, but you cannot find it. You say you are lost. Listen, grasshopper, love is not a battleground where the bleeding losers are left strewn about to beckon for death's welcoming rap, longing for a simple, gentle word or touch from God. And I do not serve the angels. They have just about everything they need by now. As for you, aching in mind, body, or soul, who have acquired that taste for love, the thirst that seemingly drives one out of one's mind, I'll tell you what, you can find it simply enough. Go, give nourishment to all tender beings. Feed every wide mouth. Quench all thirst for love, and love as you would be loved, right where you are. Let your happiness wander no more, no matter where you go, and so be requited. Let your beautiful lips and supple, passionate flesh open sweetly to all the love you can imagine. Yield to its want and disseminate all those vital gifts you have upon this magnificent world of ours. Thank you.
My mother's brother's best cousin's second friend's neighbor. Thanks, Lewis. All right. Isn't it time, Mr. Sanderell? I gave him 4 warning, actually 5 warning, because, you know, I try to keep the inflationary factors. Mr. Sanderell approaches. Please give him a kind round of applause. The man knows no bounds, and that's a good thing in this world of ours. And then we'll have our feature after the Sanderell.
My device says thank you. I'm going to read 2 new ones and an old one, so. Hello.
Hello.
That's it.
No. They're not going to get away with that.
I sit watching Valencia. I sit watching Valencia. She's barely recognizable now. She's broken up, relocated. Her grit, working class flavor, holds to the loop. Only their ghosts roam, replaced for a new class of people. I sit watching Valencia. Your funkingness replaced with slick sickness. There will be no mariachis, no more altars, no more funky houses, no more bookstores, no longer. I sit watching Valencia where businesses change and change, with each rising rent rises like a drunken building sinking and leaning, waiting for the fall. I miss you, Valencia.
Yeah. But don't hold back.
Yeah, I won't do that.
Okay, just check.
Now, there are those who've lived in this town with generations. But when I got here, there was these foghorns out there. Somebody said they were Big Berthas. I don't know whether that was my imagination. But that's what I call them in this poem. The time of Big Berthas. There is a time of Big Berthas. It is they who announces themselves when ships enter the bay of San Francisco. The Big Bertha's voices croak and ships' horns make music on the bay, mystical, enveloping. Bertha's voice rolls across San Francisco as lighthouse of Alcatraz sweeps from land to sea, lighting the way, giving visual as Bertha's gave voice to the city. There is a time of change, struggle, war, but Big Bertha's gave wonderment, reassures, in dreamlike fashions, psychedelic for the times. There is a time gone, when other forms of navigation used, where Big Berthas are no longer needed. One Bertha remains on Alcatraz for old time's sake. The solitary voice no longer sings with the other Big Berthas. Music on the bay no longer sings except for the one voice that has been muted, announcing San Francisco.
Yeah.
And an older piece called The Birds Add to Earth's Music. Birds add their voice to Earth's music, song sung, chirped, trumpeted. The mother spins in circles as birds did in the beginning to this day. In the beginning they flew in circles where light was dim from the new forming sun. When Earth formed, they found a place for the land and to nest where the trees had sprouted from the mother's soil. It is the Earth that spins in circles now as Earth's did in flight. It's the birds that first gave us the circle, the hoop.
Weather that brings the winds and storms gathers by spinning. Sufis spin, the universe spins, whirlpools spin. Native people dance the round dance. Time circles, but also in a straight line, way too rigid for time. Time pops in and out, back and forth, round and round. Birds sing to each other, but the earth responds to the music. The mother loves the trumpeters in a nice ballad, or screaming in improvised joy, longs for the sad call of the mourning dove, and the earth continues to spin. The cacophony of the birds, it is the cacophony of birds that adds to earth's music. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Richard the Sanderell. And now, forewarned is forearmed.
And that's, what's the name of that, the goddess with all the arms?
Kali.
Yeah.
She drinks blood. Shiva.
Yeah. Is it Shiva?
Don't they all have
Shiva.
Shiva.
Shiva is a god.
With all the arms, though, the one that, never mind. All right. One of my favorite parts of the evening where I get to boast and brag on someone in public while they have to sit there and go, Actually, she won't do that. So I have a little card here that helps me remember some of the things that I found. So Eileen Malone is a stellar poet. This person, I mean, just to give you an example, she has this poem about an umbrella that's not hers, not my umbrella. And it starts with something so innocent, a common thing that might happen, yet she travels with it, and it takes you to different places. It's like a tour of the mind, and all the things that can happen, social realities, metaphysical reality. It's just like it just goes all over. And you think, oh, but she's not really talking about an umbrella. And there's another one where she talks about the way our dreams slam and sink, and that it's really about two people, but then it's about so much more. Social reality, the relationship between people and society, and how just because you are the way you are doesn't mean other people have the right to tell you that you can't be the way you are. I mean,
yes.
What's all this crap about closure? I mean, people have heard about that before. Someone's trying to get closure, and you know, great stuff. The personal becomes universal, and in all the effects that she deals with. So a small poem doesn't stay small with her. You have books. Did you bring some? And she has books, and she brought some. So there's a few out there, and there's prizes that she has won. She's been published here and there. And do you still do the Northern California Book Review prizes? Is that okay? So she's a reviewer for that, the Northern California Book Review prizes. So when you send books to them, she is one of the people who are really reading these books. So there's things, but rather than hear me, I think you'd rather hear her. So bring her up with a big round of applause here.
And I'm going to make sure you're focused correctly here.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
You're perfect.
9, 10. Okay.
You're perfect. Just get closer to it because that's the way.
Okay. This way.
Yes, dear.
I know about bravery. I know pilots don't fall out of open cockpits, even when the plane turns sideways or flips forward. Momentum holds body against seat firmly enough to counter gravity's pull. I know for the vermouth of foreign streaming skies to move over me like cosmic oceans of wine, there is such a thing as being too careful. If I give in to my fears, believe I am insufficient, if I don't push gently against pictures of what has been learned then discarded, the edges cut off and the rest mutilated, I will then turn around too early. Each time I will turn back sooner. One day I will turn back before takeoff. I know how weakness fossilizes in the heart, works as a weight against flight, jams my lift to leave. I know about bravery and why I must keep flying into wildernesses of mirrors hung with still wet paintings of instrument gauges. I must keep flying until the ponderous falls from me, caught like an insect in resin, honey lit as it's at its center. All I don't know I've hidden. And finally, amber of heart, I will begin my slow descent to the dark, cluttered landing strip that, seeing me approach, will rise up, brilliant with my flaws, blazing with my defects, and all lit up to welcome me.
Yay.
You've all been hacked, I'm sure. If you haven't been, you will be. Okay.
As far as Japan?
Hacker. He's in my living room, hunched over his laptop. Today he wears camouflage sagging pants that currently constitutes teenage chic, reminiscent of prisons where inmates are prohibited from wearing belts. Says with the easy voice of someone who medicates his own life, society does not own me like it does you. Hackers are feared for all we know about computers, but our real power is in how well we hackers know you. Like how you all choose your passwords poorly, routinely pick access codes like Sesame, or your favorite hobby, or your own name. You want me to penetrate. Want me. You can convince any computer of any lie. Give it the incorrect information correctly, and it will believe. He goes back to tapping on his keyboard, long conversations with people in various time zones and virtual spaces, hacks away, drifts away on winged feet into cyberspace, only to encounter adoring messages from men and women who claim to be young girls. Come here, babe, he types the words, beautiful in their insolence. Let me do you like to be done. In the looseness of his snail blue gaze, I anxiously wonder if sooner or later I will give in, cross over, and be doing it with him, for him, to him, his mouth slowly working the air. Relax, he whispers, pulling me to his power, his sex in my email, putting his fingers over mine on the keyboard. It's already started. It's happening. Two poems on two different perspectives on prison. He must like prison. It's like a drug, this attraction to him. I can't will it away, can't even will away the will to try. I'm much too eager reaching for him. The guards look offwards. How many times have I suggested, if we were married, we could have conjugal rights? I have sent him chocolate, blue jeans that fit, peanuts, potato chips, stamps, and paper so that he can write me back. But he is so beautiful in tan muscles, blonde everywhere, when loving me, which, when he could, he never did as much as I wanted. What about the boys in there with him, their fingers, buttocks, tongues? What about sex? I want to know. How can he ask me to wait for him? He answers my question with a question, apologizes for his anger. By the way, that photo of me I sent, how it worried you to see me looking so tired, trying too hard to appear happy? To tell the truth, I thought it was one of my best.
Wonder what fellow inmate it was supposed to impress. He starts in to quote the Bible to me. Oh, sweet Jesus, he is so gorgeous, so impossible, so dogmatic. Nothing specifically has changed, although suddenly I'm sensible. He is more exquisite than he will ever know, and this time, I'm leaving. I'm leaving for good. Now, where's the other one? I feel obligated now, since you've spoken about a few of the poems, that I should probably
If you want, that's
probably
fine.
read them. Yeah.
That's good.
The umbrella.
Do you want the umbrella one? Yeah, okay. That's a favorite one. It's called Not My Umbrella. I think I left my umbrella at that Irish bar last night. Black, with a small rip, silver shaft, cracked black handle. Didn't bring it home. Brought him, though, home. Out of his mind with drink, singing, spouted Celtic poetry. Just for tonight, I told him as they escorted us from the pub. And I want you gone in the morning. I issued my prerequisite, spending a ridiculous amount of time giggling, looking for the key, then for the lock. This morning's weather report calls for rain. The bartender empties out the lost and found cardboard box, semi-glasses, 1 gray woolen glove, 3 lighters. There is 1 black umbrella, but it isn't mine. I hesitate, want to be honest. This one is unripped. Silver dragon handle, newer, more expensive. For the love of God, woman, he says, take the damn thing. Winking gold freckles in his eyes. I grab the umbrella. Claim the damn thing that is not mine. The other umbrella hadn't been mine either. Nor the one before that. Nor you. I step outside into the continuance of my hangover, the newness of rain. Umbrellas open all around me, reflect the darkening sky. Wild black morning glories hang upside down from thousands of silvered threads. I return to you, probably still sleeping in my bed, probably waiting for me to cook you breakfast. Here I go again, another damn Irishman. Each time I lose one of you, another tribesman turns up in your place. Like something being returned. Not quite what was lost, but once again, mine.
Now what about talk about our dreams slam in sync.
Oh, okay.
That's kick ass, as they say.
Yeah. Our dreams swam in sync. SYNC. We can do this at least. Remember how we were in love with Esther Williams, forcing ourselves to smile like she did, in spite of our eyes burning from chlorine chops of splashed water, practicing turnovers that took us to the bottom of things, believing everything turns around at the end, our wispy hair popping out from under our caps in tufts and clumps, telling each other how pretty we were. After the whistle blew and everyone got out, shivering in cold stall showers, we dared ourselves to hide behind the lockers until the echoes of whistles and voices ricocheting from cement walls and the entire building cleared out. We dared ourselves to slip, just us, into the lapis blue gelatin, bodies like mermaids, cause no ripples or splashes, red hibiscus in our loosened hair, being lifted up, and out of the underwater lights by a helicopter manned with movie cameras, fountains erupting at our feet up to the orchid garlanded swing where we lean and point our toes. But we just talked. Then we dressed with the others, hiding behind towels, dabbing blue waltz toilet water behind our ears. That's how our mothers taught us. We covered our wet ponytails in identical white scarves, applied more flame glow pale pink lipstick over the darkening reddish blue it had become, saved our bus fare so we could walk to Woolworths and cram ourselves into the hollow box, and posed for the photo flash, pucker, stick out our tongues, slide on the tiny plastic seat, fall upon each other, giddy, crazy, laughing, crying, almost peeing our pants, well, more than almost. But that was many lives ago, many girlhoods ago. Today we dribble with each cough or sneeze or unexpected spurt of laughter. Husbands dead, children gone, hardly any of us remain. We find each other, try to resume where we left off. It seemed we have learned much too competently, much too acutely how to live alone, how to measure, how to avoid other people's hells, save a buck, do without the kind of friends you just goof around with. Can't remember the last time we caught an old Esther Williams movie on television. The vanilla scent of cheap toilet water in heart-shaped bottles, the way our dreams swam in sync. Oh, we try. But to the whiff of chlorine that comes like the phantom aroma of snuffed candles one consents, emitting from a cassette tape of monks chanting, just finished, and turned off. Finally, one of us becomes sensible about underwater somersaults, and how they come up from under to go over and over until they are definitely over. One of us honors the pragmatic and politely, firmly asks about the grandchildren.
What about all this? What about all this crap about closure?
Oh, yeah.
What's all this crap about closure?
That's, by the way, the umbrella poem.
Yes.
When the book came out, I was in New York, and I read it in a coffee shop. And the guy came from behind the counter when I finished and said, "I know who that is. I know that guy. I know that
guy." Did you take him home? That's my husband.
Oh! Well met. Thank you.
What am I looking for?
Oh, crap about closure.
No, it's in there. I'm sorry, I hate doing this, but...
It's all right, we forgive you for everything you're about to do, have done, will do. Might as well be complete about it.
There it is, it's in this book, 15, page 15. Okay. What's all this crap about closure? Someone says, within hearing distance. I don't know who he speaks to or to what he refers, but in this morning of dead cars, half buried in the sand, I am struck by the muffled way a dog barks, a radio blares, someone revs up a lawnmower. It's too late, much too late. Maybe the last word has already been spoken, and we are all salt drops of tears, afterthoughts that give life to sand seed. I pull back then into the present moment, which becomes sand in a sudden grasp of timing, of dime store hourglasses that I do not try to explain away. Over my shoulder I curse the voice. Damn it to hell. Thank you very much. You've just invalidated most of my life, which I've narrowed to bone, disciplined into fleshlessness, that I am fast forwarding to the finish, perhaps to too lateness. because too lateness has everything to do with telling the truth about death, or nothing to do with it. We are all dying. Get ready, get set. Even our sun has mastered the skill and is burning itself out. Being paranoid is sort of like being psychic. What's over is not entirely. There's time to go get changed. There is continuance, I know. For a price, before I die, I can arrange to have my still fresh dead head deeply frozen, my neuro preserved like a giant round pickle in liquid nitrogen, might even have it stored with thousands of frozen embryos that have been fertilized and then put aside indefinitely, the purpose for making them over for now. The trouble with closure, like timing, is how it refuses to beg our pardon as it falls away, hindward, pulling us along. Bottom drawer. Searching the bottom drawer of his desk for a rubber band, I find paper clips, Band-Aids, a box of condoms, a spiral-bound notebook with half the pages torn out, a box of condoms, TV remote controls from TVs long gone and dumped, a box of condoms, a pencil in need of sharpening, its dirty, worn erasure hard, useless. I believe I'll stop here where it matters. There is no such thing as a finished poem.
You gotta go like 3 minutes so you can do a closure. Yeah.
Okay, I'll do the, I'll finish with another prison poem from a different perspective. Black Dahlia. When Judy, with an I, as she likes it spelled in lowercase, writes to prison inmates chosen from websites where they post picture and profile, she explains how she understands how important it must be to hear your name at mail call. Sends a photo, a black dahlia from the movie, pinned behind her ear that waits to be plucked. Begins a lettership, asks if he wants to make room for hope, to allow for friendship, encourages him to learn to cook, to sing, to read the Bible, offers a relationship, respect, dignity, money to cover the cost of stamps, pens, everything but what he is in for. Knows the comfort of what is avoided, the absence of deceit in what isn't spoken, praises his attempts at rhyming love poetry, his words that drop out from the pages like puffs of cockroach wings, flourishes the end of each encouraging page with a biblical quote and a smiley face, uses ridiculously large loops in her P's and G's, dots the I in Judy with a little star. When the marriage proposal comes, as it always does, as it should, she declines firmly but sweetly. On pink notepaper folded into a pink envelope, dusted with rose-scented talcum powder, her flourished name underlined with OOOs and XXXXs for hugs and kisses, she shuts down the old post office box and opens a different, new one. She photoshops a new portrait, once again turning the dark tumor emerging from the right side of her brain into a black dahlia that waits to be plucked. Then she checks the updated websites for new prison inmates looking for a pen pal.
Wow.
I also do a literary contest, and here's, if you're interested.
Oh yeah, put it right here. Yeah, well, people will be able to get that.
Thank you.
So she runs, the literary contest information is right here. Another round of applause, please. Really, 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 really.
Well, that was great. That was great. Really, it's like, I'm so glad you're here. We're going to take a quick break. Just let you know who's coming up after. Now, there's someone here, Edgar Vasquez, but I don't know if they crossed. It looks like they crossed out their name, but if they're here, it's okay because we're going to be reading after the break. So we have Edgar there. Then we have the Clyde Always show coming back. Max Purdue.
Edgar left.
Oh, he did?
He'll come back next week and read.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's what he did. Okay, then we got Clara Sue, and then Margaret Harps if he shows up. And if you haven't signed up and want to, there's spaces here. And then we got Zubin as our last word. So I'm going to shut the camera off so you don't have to worry about being filmed or I know. So anyway, schmooze and talk to her about her book. She has books. Ladies and gentlemen, we're signing here. We'll be back with you in just a moment.